Crash course on China's corruption problem and its anti-graft campaign. Why it is common problem for all the communist systems. China's corruption problem is a well-known issue that has plagued the country for many years. The issue has been tackled through an aggressive anti-graft campaign initiated by President Xi Jinping. This campaign is aimed at curbing corruption, bribery, and embezzlement in the Communist Party and the government. In this article, we will discuss China's corruption problem and the anti-graft campaign, why it is a common problem for all communist systems, and list and describe the top 12 corruption events in China. China's corruption problem. China's corruption problem has been well documented, and it is a significant issue that impacts the country's economic growth, political stability, and social order. Corruption in China has been widespread, with government officials and business leaders engaging in corrupt practices such as bribery, embezzlement, and nepotism. The Chinese Communist Party has acknowledged this problem and has taken steps to address it. In 2013, President Xi Jinping launched a high-profile anti-graft campaign to combat corruption in the party and the government. China's anti-graft campaign. The anti-graft campaign is one of the most aggressive and high-profile campaigns initiated by President Xi Jinping. The campaign aims to tackle corruption, bribery, and embezzlement in the Communist Party and the government. Since its launch, the campaign has led to the arrest and prosecution of many high-ranking officials and business leaders. The campaign has also resulted in changes to the legal system, such as the introduction of new anti-corruption laws and regulations. The anti-graft campaign has been widely popular among the Chinese people, who see corruption as a significant issue affecting their daily lives. The campaign has also been praised by international organizations and governments, who see it as a positive step towards a more transparent and accountable government in China. Why corruption is a common problem for all communist systems. Corruption is a common problem for all communist systems because of the concentration of power in the hands of a few individuals. In communist systems, the government controls the economy and society, which can lead to a lack of transparency and accountability. The absence of a free press and an independent judiciary can also contribute to corruption. Without checks and balances, those in power can engage in corrupt practices without fear of consequences. Top 12 recent corruption events in China. 1. Bo Xilai corruption scandal, 2012. Bo Xilai was a high-ranking politician in China and the former mayor of Chongqing. He was found guilty of corruption, bribery, and abuse of power in 2013. The scandal was a major blow to the Chinese Communist Party, which was forced to conduct a public trial and sentence him to life in prison. 2. Zhou Yongkang corruption scandal, 2014. Zhou Yongkang was a former security chief and one of China's most powerful officials. He was found guilty of bribery, abuse of power, and leaking state secrets in 2015. The scandal was one of the biggest in China's history and resulted in the arrest and conviction of several high-ranking officials. 3. GSK bribery scandal, 2014. The GSK bribery scandal involved British pharmaceutical company GlaxoSmithKline, GSK, and its operations in China. GSK was found guilty of bribing doctors and hospitals to use its products. The company was fined $500 million, and several of its executives were arrested and sentenced to prison. 4. Guo Boxiong corruption scandal, 2015. Guo Boxiong was a former vice chairman of China's Central Military Commission. He was found guilty of bribery and abuse of power in 2016. The scandal was a major blow to the Chinese military, which was forced to conduct a public trial and sentence him to life in prison. 5. Ling Jihua corruption scandal, 2015. Ling Jihua was a former aide to former President Hu Jintao. He was found guilty of bribery, abuse of power, and illegally obtaining state secrets in 2016. The scandal was a major embarrassment for the Chinese Communist Party, which was forced to conduct a public trial and sentence him to life in prison. 6. Bai Enpei corruption scandal, 2016. Bai Enpei was a former senior Communist Party official in China's Yunnan province. He was found guilty of bribery and abuse of power in 2017. The scandal was one of the biggest in Yunnan's history and resulted in the arrest and conviction of several officials. 7. Wang Jianlin corruption investigation, 2017. Wang Jianlin is a Chinese billionaire and the founder of Dalian Wanda Group. He was investigated for corruption in 2017, but no charges were filed against him. The investigation was seen as a warning to other wealthy individuals in China to comply with government regulations. 8. Sun Zhengcai corruption scandal, 2018. Sun Zhengcai was a former Communist Party official and the former mayor of Chongqing. He was found guilty of bribery and abuse of power in 2018. The scandal was a major blow to the Chinese Communist Party, which was forced to conduct a public trial and sentence him to life in prison. 9. Yang Jiechi's son corruption scandal, 2019. Yang Jiechi is a Chinese diplomat and the former foreign minister of China. His son was investigated for corruption in 2019, but no charges were filed against him. The investigation was seen as a warning to other officials and their families to comply with government regulations. 10. Yunnan bribery case, 2019. The Yunnan bribery case involved several officials in Yunnan province who were found guilty of bribery and abuse of power in 2019. The scandal was one of the biggest in Yunnan's history and resulted in the arrest and conviction of several officials. 11. Zhou Yongkang's Anti-Corruption Manifesto, 2020. Zhou Yongkang is a Chinese law professor who published a manifesto in 2020 calling for the end of corruption in China. The manifesto was critical of the Chinese Communist Party and its leadership and resulted in his dismissal from his teaching position at Tsinghua University. The manifesto gained international attention and sparked a debate within China about the country's corruption problem. 12. Warong Asset Management Corruption Scandal, 2021. Warong Asset Management is a state-owned financial company in China. The company was found to have engaged in fraudulent accounting practices and had hidden losses of more than $15 billion. The scandal was a major blow to China's financial sector and raised concerns about the government's ability to manage state-owned companies. These are just a few examples of the many corruption scandals that have occurred in China in recent years. While the government has made some efforts to address the problem through anti-corruption campaigns and the prosecution of high-ranking officials, many believe that corruption remains a widespread issue that needs to be addressed at all levels of government and society. In summary, China's corruption problem is a significant issue that impacts the country's economic growth, political stability, and social order. The Anti-Graft campaign initiated by President Xi Jinping is aimed at curbing corruption, bribery, and embezzlement in the Communist Party and the government. Corruption is a common problem for all communist systems due to the concentration of power in the hands of a few individuals. The top 12 recent corruption events in China involve high-ranking officials, business leaders, and prominent individuals who engaged in corrupt practices such as bribery, embezzlement, and abuse of power. Here is poem on China's corruption. The corruption dragon looms large, a foe that China seeks to charge. From bribery to nepotism, its impact felt across the prism. In communist systems, it is rife. Power concentrated without strife. The absence of checks and balance leads to corruption without any hindrance. President Xi Jinping launched a campaign to fight the problem with might and main. The anti-graft movement is bold. Against corrupt officials, it takes hold. Bo Xilai and Zhou Yongkang's scandals brought to light the corrupt handles. GSK and Bai Enpei's bribery highlighted the problem that's cherry. The corruption problem is vast, and China's efforts will have to last. For economic growth and social order, it is a foe that they must border. In China's fight against corruption, the anti-graft campaign's disruption is a step towards transparency, towards a society free of opacity. ******. Start planning your next global adventure with ease and convenience with our Booking.com referral link. https://www.booking.com/index.html?8 equals 7989335 as a great choice to plan your next trip. You can find and book flights, hotels, cars, and local attractions all in one place, and their price match guarantee ensures you're getting the best deal. Thank you for support our AnHub Metaverse channel, and please watch more interesting videos here.